All right. Well, welcome y'all to element 11 tonight. This is an element where we are going to talk about, how do you do life beyond the fuelings, right? It's really easy to lose weight on the fuelings, but then how do we transition off of the fuelings and, what are the successful tools we kind of need to have locked down in order to have a successful transition? And I will tell you, I've been doing this journey for 6 years. And while I have kept the weight off, there's certainly been times where, it might fluctuate up and down 5 pounds. Maybe I go on vacation and it goes up because I did some things that are out of my normal routine. But when I come home and get back in my routine and back in where I have control of what I'm eating, when you're traveling, you just eat out, you do whatevs. So when I get back home and I have better control over what I'm eating, what I'm fixing, what's in it, your body goes right back, that weight comes right back off. So my goal tonight is to help you guys see how you can start learning to eat healthy when buying food right now while you're on your journey. So even if you're transitioned, this will be helpful to you. But if you haven't transitioned yet, this is helpful also because it'll give you things to think about and that you'll be working towards. One of my favorite things to say is you buy your willpower at the grocery store. So I always love it when I would talk to my coach and I'd say, I don't know what happened, but I had a weak moment and I had a few Oreos. And she's like, where'd you get the Oreos from? And I was like, my pantry. And she goes, why are there Oreos in your pantry, Alice? And I'm like, because they came home in the grocery cart the other day. She goes, well, okay. If you keep bringing those home, it's going to be hard to resist when you have times like that. So we'll talk about that a little bit. We're going to understand the importance of your lean and green meal. Like everybody focuses so much on the fuelings and we actually, there's supposed to be something that we don't have to focus on particularly, but we do want to focus on that lean and green meal because that is going to help teach us how we eat moving forwards after we've transitioned. Basically, what your grocery list looks like, what your pantry and fridge are stocked with, for the most part, will be what we talk about tonight, and how that supports your habits of health transformation. So, of course, this is the food side of it. All right, but we all know the life book and the stress management and the 6 healthy habit areas, all of those are also a really important part of your lifelong wellness transformation and keeping the weight off. So, we've been taught for so many years that it's all about the food or it's just about food and healthy motion. But really, you guys who've been with us doing the life book are recognizing how much of it starts here and how much of the healing and the healthy habits, the things that have to change here in order for us to actually absorb and start doing some of the things we're going to talk about tonight. So, our fuelings are our prepackaged meals, and those serve very specific purposes. They make it so we don't have to calorie count for the most part. Like we just have to pay attention to 1 meal if you're on the 5 and 1, 2 if you're on the 4 and 2. Otherwise, all that's done for us, all the vitamins, minerals, probiotics, that's done for us. Everything we need to throw something down our gullet and have it activate our metabolism to start burning and utilizing our stored fats, all of that's planned out for us, right? That is a tricky thing that is very hard to do without the help of something like the fuelings. Also, the grazing habit that the fuelings create and the natural portion control that they create, because we're eating smaller, more frequent meals, our stomach shrinks. And even when we do have those lean and green meals, like one of the things I thought was so crazy was, sometimes I would have trouble finishing my lean and green and I needed to finish it, but it was so much bigger than the fuelings I'd had all day. It really does make a difference to have that portion control. I'm so sorry, I keep getting a piece of hair in my mouth. When you guys started this journey, some of you are on your journey, maybe you're not even to day 4 yet, but one of the things you're going to find that maybe you didn't recognize was a sensation that you'd kind of lost touch with was the feeling of being satiated. I know that before I started this journey, I either felt so full that I thought I was going to be sick, like just bloated and so full I couldn't stand it, or I was starving. I didn't really have a time where I was feeling satiated. I'd forgotten what satiated felt like. I knew what really, really full felt like. I knew what starving felt like, but I didn't know what satiated feels like. On this journey, within the first week, you discover again what satiated feels like, where you kind of go, your eyeballs and and your brain might go, we're still hungry. But then if you stop and think about it, am I hungry? No, you're not. You're satiated. Maybe you don't feel like you think you should feel because you don't feel just overly full and bloated and stuffed. because that's how you kind of always got to. And I'm going to explain the reasoning behind that. It's not because there's anything wrong with you. It's just because of a trigger in the brain that activates when we are going to feel satiated, that gets blocked when we have the highly processed foods. So we're not eating those highly processed foods right now. So we get to discover and rediscover the feeling of being satiated. Feeling full and satisfied, when we get a hold of that and we get to a really good grasp of what that feels like, then feeling too full, like if we go to a wedding on a weekend and we overdo it a little bit and we immediately regret it because we think, boy, I feel too full. Or when we skip a fueling and we start to feel starving and we feel like we can't catch up to that satiated feeling. You get to where you really crave satiated, you want satiated, and your autopilot settings start to look for satiated. So that's a really good part of your lifelong health and wellness. And in order for your goal to become a reality, I'm going to help you guys develop a complete healthy eating strategy to support you for the rest of your life. Now, I'm not going to help you do it. Dr. A is going to help you do it, but we're going to talk about what he said. So Dr. A says our fuelings are our training wheels, and our lean and green meal is actually the first micro habit for healthy eating. So what I loved about the lean and green meal is anything that I love to eat before I started the program. So like if we had pizza night or taco night or spaghetti night or whatever, I was able to do it in a lean and green way. And it not only did it taste just as good, but I felt so much better after I ate it, and it kept all my goals on track. So it was really a relief to me to go, oh, I can still enjoy the meals that I love. They're just tweaked. And I actually, when I eat them now, I enjoy them even more because, you know, being on the program set all of my sugars and salts and things like that back to my normal levels, so that, you know, you notice things that maybe didn't taste sweet to you before taste sweet again. Things that, you know, you were dumping tons of salt on, now you don't feel the need to do that because you've brought your palate back down to the level it's supposed to be, and that sensitivity to taste it is there. So that lean and green is helping us do that, and we're appreciating it so much, and appreciating being able to make the things that we love, but in a healthier way. So let's go ahead and look at page 218, and we're going to talk a little bit about shopping when we go shopping. So I tell people at the beginning of the program, if you really struggle with shopping, this is a great stop, challenge, choose moment for you. If you're like me and you find the Oreos ended up in your cart on accident, and then you're throwing 3 down your face, you know, a week later when you're having a rough moment, you go, how did those Oreos end up in my cart? I cleaned out my pantry. Why did I get them at the store? So we can stop, challenge, and choose, and we can go, am I going to the store hungry? Do I need to bring a fueling with me? Is it time to have a fueling on my way to the store? Do I have a list of what I'm going to get at the store, or am I just wandering aimlessly around the store and things are ending up in my cart that shouldn't be there? If we are shopping correctly, we're not going on the rows that have the cookies and the crackers and the, you know, the pastas and all that kind of stuff. We're not even going in those rows in the grocery store. We're really kind of shopping just the outer aisles where we have our fruits, our vegetables, and our meats and our seafoods. I guess seafood is meat too. So we're just shopping those outer aisles. So if you find that you're going in those other aisles and you shouldn't be, or, you know, you keep, it probably is just because you either are going shopping hungry, or maybe if you haven't processed your stress very well during the day, elements 4 and elements 23, we're working on that, right? And our brain, if we're not processing our stress well, or if we're not getting enough sleep, it craves sugary things. It wants that dopamine hit. It thinks, I need sugar to pop out of this because that was our old go-to. But in fact, we get great energy from utilizing our stored fats as energy. And those things, those carby things, those highly processed flours and sugars, those are going to knock us out of that fat burn. And that energy that we get, very brief energy, is not lasting. That makes us feel worse afterwards. So we want to stay in that zone. If you're going to the grocery store and you're finding that you're having trouble shopping, maybe you need to have a list, make sure you're not hungry, or if it's really hard, look, I understand that sometimes we're dealing with really serious food addictions or emotional processing things that involve food for us, and it's hard to break that cycle. So maybe in the first month of your journey, maybe you call it in, you know, your grocery list, and you drive up to the store and let them bring it to your car. Or if you're going through a crisis situation and you think you're going to revert to old habits, call that grocery list in and have someone bring it to your car. Or have someone else do the grocery shopping and just make sure that they stick with the things that will help you succeed. So let's look at our shopping list. It should include sections from 4 major groups, all right? Lean protein, healthy fats and oils, green vegetables and salad, and healthy snacks and condiments, okay? In our Optavia guide, the one that you've got at the beginning of your journey, and I believe you can also go to habitsofhealth.com and there's a digital one that you can download if it's been a minute or you've come back on program because maybe now you're going to do the life book this time or you're just fine tuning, whatever reason. In that Optavia guide, it does tell you some great ideas for healthy snacks and condiments. Also going into your community page, you can find out some great ideas for things that people use for healthy snacks and condiments as well. During phase 1 or the weight loss period, you will not be eating fruit or grains. Okay, those do come back into your life, which is great. But during the weight loss phase, in order to get our metabolism to tap into those stored fats, fruits and grains that are good for you, that's great, but they give you too much energy and your metabolism will pull from that rather than from the stored fats, and we want it pulling from the stored fats. So please don't misunderstand. No one is saying that fruits and grains are unhealthy. Those are actually very, very much a part of a balanced diet, but they interfere with the way that we are using the metabolism to pull from the stored fats during the weight loss part of our program. All right, lean protein. So let's look at page 219. This really helped me a lot getting familiar with this little thing. And you're like, Allison, there's lean, leaner, and leanest. What's the deal? Should I always only eat leanest? No, but don't always only eat lean either. Dr. Anderson says we should probably have some kind of seafood 2 to 3 times a week. Those are your leanest proteins. And then the other ones, you can move around as needed. And if you're a vegetarian, you will obviously use vegetable proteins. And we have charts and things to help you with that as well. It is not in here at this for this element, but work with your coach and they can help you find those things. So lean proteins, the leaner they are, the more you might have to up your healthy fats and oils. Okay. If this is confusing to you, ask your coach. They are happy to help you with that. So if you choose from the leanest meats category, then you definitely would would up your healthy fats and oils. But obviously, if you choose a more fatty choice for the leaner or just lean meat, you're going to want to up that. So that means salad dressing or, olive oil, things like that. So I love how on page 219, it says, you can write out what seafood do you currently choose. I wrote salmon and shrimp. That has not changed. I would love to also put crab legs and lobster, but I don't live that kind of high dollar life right now. So that's just a treat on my birthday. But then what adjustments can you make to your choice of fish and shellfish using the diagram below? Well, tuna fish, that's easy enough. You know what? Tuna fish, if you like tuna fish, is such an easy thing to have on hand because it doesn't have to be refrigerated. And it's something that you can grab and whip together with a little bit of healthy mayo and have do that. A lot of times I'll do it down a celery stick, like stuff it in the celery stick or do a lettuce wrap with that, with the tuna salad. That's really good. And then that gives me my healthy fats. But you can look and see and write down some ideas for yourself about choosing these proteins. So all of these right here are fish. We're going to look over here on page 220 at the meat and poultry choices that we have. So again, Dr. A says it'd be great if we could choose fish 2 to 3 times a week. And then for those other 4 days, check in over here with your lean, leaner, and leanest proteins. And then, of course, we do talk about meat alternatives. We'll go into that for a minute. But so, you're not going to eat pork chops every night. You're going to need to mix it up. If you're eating pork chops every night, that scale is probably not going to move so much. So you want to have it, again, your seafoods with your lean, leaner, or leanest proteins. And it says, what adjustments can you make with your choice of meat and poultry using the diagram below? This is great, y'all. You're going to get to the point on your program. I had 50 pounds to lose. It took me 5 months. I lost 10 pounds a month-ish. Some months were more than others. Well, it's better some months more than others. But with this, it really does help you get to where you know this. not only, people might look and like, oh, it's so much to memorize, Allison. Yeah, but some of this meat maybe you don't like. So you don't have to remember it. Only just concentrate on the ones you like, and then make sure you have enough variety in there during the week that you're moving it around. Okay. So you don't have to memorize all this stuff, but memorize the stuff that you like. Now, if you have some crazy vacation where you're going on to go be at a ranch in Wyoming, and all they're going to have are buffalo, elk, and deer and rabbit and stuff like that, then you might want to learn about those proteins and figure out which ones will work for you. But otherwise, I would just stick with the ones that you use anyway. And then moving over to meat alternatives, you know what? Sometimes I just want kind of a vegetarian night. Okay. Sometimes, or maybe I just didn't grocery shop. I don't have any meat, but I do have the vegetable stuff. So I always have eggs. I live on a farm. We have chickens. That always works. Tofu is another one that's really great for those of you who don't want to have meat. That's fine. And then egg beaters, which I think are just the whites. But there are other things too, like nuts and seeds and stuff that provide good protein if you don't want to use meats. And you can work with your coach on that, and they'll make sure that you get enough, because protein is really important. Protein is what carries you over. It's what feeds your muscular skeletal system. So you want to make sure you're getting enough of that. I have clients who are like, Allison, I'm doing everything right, but I'm still hungry. I feel like I'm chasing hunger. And when we figured they're eating their fuelings on time, they're getting all their fuelings in, a lot of time I'll find out they're not measuring their protein, and they're not getting enough protein in their lean and green meals. And once they fix that, they're good to go. They're golden. Let's talk about healthy fats and oils. This is the one that a lot of people are like, man, I don't even pay attention to that. Well, this is really going to come into play, especially lifelong health and wellness, right? Because this is important. We need it. We need it for brain health. We also need it to help process our food. So if you look here, it's talking about each of these fats equal 1 serving. So down the page, bottom of page 222, canola, flaxseed, walnut, or olive oil. Now, again, these are, I don't think I've ever used flaxseed or walnut oil. I have used canola, but you know what? I just keep it simple. I just use olive oil. That's all I use. I mean, that's just what I have in the pantry. It's what I use. So you can be creative, or if you have a favorite that's listed here, that's fine. I just believe in keeping it simple. I'm a simple girl and I don't need anything too complicated. Salad dressings, up to 2 tablespoons of low carbohydrate salad dressings. A lot of people, a lot of my clients ask me about salad dressings. Like back again on that community page, if you type in salad dressings, people have got all kinds of great things, and they'll show you which salad dressings work great with our program while you're on program, which ones work great for transitioning, and what they count as far as serving size and healthy fat serving. Reduced fat margarine is another one, or 1.5 ounces of avocado. Avocado is a great healthy fat. Oh my gosh, I love it. So that's something that, again, if you were doing that, you're having some kind of a wrap and you don't want to use mayonnaise or a salad dressing, slicing up some avocado and sticking it in there is fabulous. It gives you that creamy, nutty flavor that's really good, and it gives you that healthy fat. Green vegetables and salads. So I will tell you that my first month on program, I was so not a chef and so scared of cooking that I pretty much just threw meat on salads every single day for my lean and green. And I was like, dude, I can't eat another salad. It's an easy go-to. If you've got a busy life, busy week, having, something in the fridge like a rotisserie chicken that you grab at the store and a couple of bags of salad is a saving grace. Another thing I do is they have mashed cauliflower, like cauliflower mashed potatoes in the frozen food section, and they can just be microwaved. They're a great side if you think I cannot eat another leaf of lettuce or I can't do all salad. That's something you can whip up literally in 5 minutes in the microwave. It's wonderful, and it counts as a healthy vegetable. Dr. Anderson says, as you'll discover in the following chapters, I believe you can't eat too many healthy fruits and vegetables, with very few exceptions, once you reach your healthy weight. So isn't that good to know? We may be measuring those things now in our weight loss phase, but in your lifelong health and wellness, fruits and vegetables, it's very hard to OD on those. Like, if that's the mainstay of your diet, you will find that your body is in a beautiful state of equilibrium and you are not gaining the weight back. So isn't that a joyful thing to know? When we talk about the vegetables you'll eat during this phase, We're talking about nutrient dense, low glycemic carbohydrates. Okay. So let's look over here on page 224 at these vegetables. Now I will tell you, having transitioned off, I still kind of follow this with my vegetables. I mean, I didn't bring a bunch of processed carbohydrates back in my life. I do eat more Brussels sprouts than I was allowed to eat on plan now, because it's okay that I can up those carbohydrates now, because that's one of my favorite vegetables. But you can look and see, again, just like we talked about with the meats, how there's a lean, leaner, leanest. It's the same with the vegetables, right? So don't eat broccoli every single night. I know that might be your favorite vegetable, but you need to mix it up with the moderate carbohydrates and the lower carbohydrates during the week. So look in here, you know, maybe you do a roasted broccoli as a side dish one night, you know, with some, I don't know, green beans. But then on another night, maybe you mix it up and you have more of a salad and you throw some mushrooms in there. You know, maybe chop up some cucumbers, things from the lower carbohydrate list. And you want to do that moving forwards in the lifelong health and wellness. Again, you really can't, I don't know anybody who's like, yes, I'm 500 pounds and all I eat is vegetables and fruits. That just doesn't happen. Okay. But it is good to just know for how you feel watching that. You guys will become an expert in this. You will, again, there's a lot of things listed here, but I don't know that I'm ever going to eat endive on purpose. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, or mustard greens. So I don't need to know about those. Radishes aren't my favorite. I don't need to know about those. It's a shame because they're in the lower carbohydrate list, but I want to know where my favorite vegetables fall. That's all you need to know. Just know your favorites and then mix them up accordingly. Now this is exciting. Let's look over here at 225 at the condiments and optional snacks. So condiments, we like using condiments. We probably used a lot of condiments before we started this journey. Now we're eating a little cleaner, a little simpler, but they give you some great ideas for condiments that will not throw you off on your weight loss part of your journey, but they're also healthy alternatives moving forward. Don't bring all those junky condiments back in. Somebody showed me the other day how much sugar is in ketchup. And I used to put ketchup on all kinds of stuff. And now I don't even bring it in the house. I mean, it's like Coca-Cola sugar. It's tons of sugar. No wonder we love it so much. So we look at it. Instead, I use salsa. If I want something kind of tomatoey with it, I'll use salsa. So half a teaspoon of most dried herbs and spices are fabulous. A teaspoon of balsamic vinegar, that always makes things fabulous. I really do like balsamic vinegar. A teaspoon of minced onion, lemon or lime juice, yellow mustard, salsa, a little bit of soy sauce, up to 2 tablespoons of sugar-free flavored syrups like the Da Vinci and Torani syrups, like for your coffee or for other drinks. A packet of artificial sweetener such as Splenda, so that counts as a condiment. Tabasco or other hot sauce, and red, white, or cider vinegar, and you can use those liberally. Those are actually good for you in so many ways. And you can be pretty liberal with those condiments. Optional snacks. Let's talk about this. So these are all optional snacks for while you're on your weight loss journey. When you transition, of course, optional snacks will grow because you'll be able to add fruits to that. You might even be able to add some, you know, low-fat yogurt to that. But of course, we're not doing dairy. We're not doing fruits while we're on the weight loss part of our journey. But we've got celery stalks, fruit flavored sugar-free popsicles. That's really nice to have on hand in the summertime. A third a cup or half a cup of sugar-free Jello or gelatin. Gum. Y'all look, 3 pieces of sugar-free gum or mints. So I had somebody who was eating lots and lots and lots and lots of gum. It was actually affecting their weight loss. So you can have it, but you can't just be chewing a million pieces all day long. 2 dill pickle spears. I love that. And I love the garlic dills. Look at them. They have like jalapeno dills. Like you can have a lot of fun with that. Half an ounce of nuts, almonds, 10 whole almonds, 7 halves of walnuts. Walnuts are really great for brain health, by the way, also. Or pistachios. You get 20 pistachios. Nuts are rich source of healthy fats and additional calories. So choose this optional stack sparingly. So I love pistachio nuts. But my coach was like, Allison, every single time you need a snack, don't grab that, because you're gonna over healthy fat, over protein if you do that. So I save those, I'd intermix those with my celery and my other stuff. So and again, there's great talks about that on the community page. So now you've got your 4-part grocery list. Let's go back over it again. Your lean protein, we're going to do lean, leaner, or leanest, right? Your healthy fats and oils, what you need based on your protein that you chose, right? Your green vegetables and salad, and then your healthy snacks and condiments. There were some days that I didn't have snacks. Like, I truly felt satiated. The amount of healthy motion I did, didn't exceed what my body needed for the day on my program. And so there are plenty of times that I didn't need a healthy snack or condiment, but on the days that I did, I got really confident and comfortable on what to grab. This is an element that's great to just make good friends with. This is also, I feel like most of this is in our little Optavia guide that we got in our box that first month. But if you've misplaced it, don't worry. It's the same exact stuff right here in element 11. So he asks us on page 227, now that you've completed element 11, how do you eat healthy beyond your fuelings? Write down your thoughts guided by the following questions. So, of course, when we get later on in the life book and we talk about transitioning, we talk about how we add calories back in, what those calories are made of, how we up our healthy motion. Because remember, we're not doing a whole bunch of healthy motion. I mean, we do some. We do the NEAT exercise as opposed to the EAT exercise. And the NEAT is just what you do all day long. I may have gotten that backwards. I don't remember. One of them is like just the movement that you do all day long. The other is go to the gym movement. The go to the gym movement, like really hardcore, we wait for that for transition. If you want to do something like that. But anyway, all that is part of transitioning and healthy, maintaining your wellness for life. But again, it's also up here, stop, challenge, and choosing. If things at the grocery store that you took out of your life are now starting to come back in, you need to pause and figure out why that's happening and how you can help yourself through that and not make that be something that creeps back into your life. The beautiful thing is, if we're doing this right, we're building an awareness. We're not running on autopilot anymore. So in that awareness, we're recognizing, oh man, ice cream ended up in my fridge like twice in the last month. I need to make sure that's not becoming a habit. And then we recognize it. We recognize how it makes us not feel so great after we have it. We have that conversation with our brain and say, quit asking me to do that. Quit putting it in my cart. And sure enough, it starts to go away, and that's not something that you struggle with anymore. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.